This is Phil Westra, and I want to talk about my process of raising queens in my apiary. This is a box that I'm going to be raising queens in, and it's colony number 8. And what I did is 7 days ago, I had the other number 8 deep on the top here. I had a queen excluder above and below the top number 8. And I had the queen trapped in there. And what I did also is I put about 6 frames of emerging brood in this bottom box. These are bees that are hatching. So I've loaded this up with nurse bees. And so these 2 boxes had a lot of nurse bees in them. And what I did is I took colony, the deep that had number 8 in it, that has the queen in it, and I pulled it off about 6 hours ago. And I brought it over here. This is where the queen from colony 8 now exists. So I separated that queen. That means that colony is queenless, and she hasn't laid anything in 7 days in the bottom of those brood chambers. So that colony has a lot of nurse bees, and it has no larvae to raise new queens in. And that's exactly the state that I want to now put my grafted larva into. So step 1 is preparation. 7 days before, I load it with nurse bees or emerging brood and then trap the queen in the top. Step 2 is today. Today we're going to graft some larvae and put those grafts in there, and we'll do that here shortly. So here's the queen cell bars that I'm going to put the grafts in. I already went ahead and put the cells, or these JZBZ queen cups, in the cell bars. And what I've labeled is I've labeled these. I'm going to put grafts from colony 12 in this one and grafts from colony 8 in this one. So these are all set to go. I usually graft in my pickup truck. I just sit there in my truck and graft. And so I got these ready to go. Now I need to get some frames. Need to find a frame from number 8 and a frame from number 12 that have day-old larvae in them. And I'll move those larvae over here. Too old. I'm looking for young larvae, not the capped ones. There we go. There's an example. I want these little tiny larvae that have just hatched. So that's the kind of frame I'm looking for. And there's the queen right there. So I'm going to pick her up and put her in her colony down there. I don't want to hurt the queen. Usually you can shake bees off a frame, but you don't want to shake this and rattle that larva around, so you actually really ought to use a bee brush and just brush them off gently. They don't love that. But brushing them off. Fortunately, it's not cold and windy today, so I don't have to worry about my larvae freezing. 28 grafts in this queen frame from number 8. And I put my veil on because 8's been queenless for about 6 hours. They might be a little bit tight. So what I did earlier is I put a queen excluder down here. So if a queen flies into this colony, she can't get through there and kill my new grafts. I put a queen excluder here so no queen can get to the top entrance, just for insurance purposes. I put 2 frames of pollen in the middle. So the frame, this has got pollen facing that way, this has got pollen facing that way. You want pollen right next to your grafts. So here's their first graft that's going to go in. Smoothly put it in. And then I'm going to go do 28 more and I'll put that frame in there. And then they'll build out those queen cells. Done. We got grafts from colony number 8 in this frame, grafts from colony number 12 in that one. We'll come back in 9 days and we will see what we have for queen cells. As I'm putting this colony back together, the last thing I make sure I do is I give them some feed. I already put pollen right next to those queen cells because they need pollen close to where they're using it. I'm going to go ahead and take this tape off of this inner cover lid, and I'm going to put a bucket feeder inside this just in case it were to rain or something like that. They need to know that they've got a great nectar flow. I don't want them to be stingy with the royal jelly by any reason. So I'm going to get it a vacuum and then you put it there. And that's 1-to-1 sugar syrup. And it's just insurance. Hopefully they got great nectar flow in the wild, but just in case they need nectar, they've got all the nectar they could need for the next 4 days to get those cells filled up with royal jelly. We're all set.